point of another country because of the per capita GDP. So far, there's only one country that we believe we're reasonably close to the saturation point, and that's New Zealand. Do you know how many chapters they have in New Zealand?
Not right off, but I do know they have about, 1,800 members or something like that?
Yeah, New Zealand is probably, but the population's...
Population is good.
Yeah. And based on their per capita GDP, the number of SMEs and the population, we believe we're reasonably close to the saturation point in there. But countries like India, I believe that someday India can have more chapters than the United States has, even though the per capita GDP at this time is lower to the US. I see India as an emerging entrepreneurial nation. And I see that in visiting these cities and the excitement that local Indian members have for building their business. I think India will far surpass the US in BNI.
You take an example of India's growth last year, no? Prior to that, UK was like the third largest country. We beat them. And UK has been in place for how many years now? Over 20
years. Yeah.
20 years, and we have just been in the game about 10 years. India's population, we have a lot of advantages for us. Tremendous amount of advantages in terms of the young entrepreneurial crowd and the type of business environment that we are currently in. In China, for example, BNI, it's taking a little longer to grow because they have other regulatory restrictions. In India, entrepreneurship is very much, everybody has got 2 to 3 businesses if you talk to an entrepreneur. So they're always looking at ways to expand. BNI is one trusted platform to expand their business.
Even in Bangladesh and Pakistan?
So we are looking for referrals right now for people. We have 2 inquiries coming in from Pakistan, and we are working with, I think, 1 inquiry from Bangladesh. So we look for a good entrepreneur in that particular country to take it on.
It is yet to start.
Yeah, we're not yet started there. We started a little bit in Sri Lanka, but that is now getting in the rebuild process.
Even in Nepal also.
Nepal, I don't have. All around us, we don't really have a presence of BNI. And that's why the market focus last year was to identify a market president. That's when I took on the role for Asia Pacific to focus on these other countries, neighboring countries, and to foster business growth between these 18 or 19 countries. Our goal at the end of the day is to make sure our members are making money. They have to make money using BNI as a platform for the references. We have various techniques. One of the helping our members make more money. That's our focus.
Why Pakistan is lacking?
For many reasons. I don't know, maybe geopolitical, maybe the trust factor, maybe we didn't have a right player, maybe nobody applied for it in the past. And plus there was no, India was already growing. We never really aggressively, like even now, India, we never really aggressively went out or marketed ourselves or branded ourselves. Only now we are starting to do that by holding press conferences like this.
Referrals, we have built our company through referrals. We're a referral company. Referrals are not linear. It's one of the things I learned early on, is that it's not linear. And if you try to push it, it doesn't work well. So I was in Southern California when I started BNI, and I thought the next best place to open would be Northern California, Los Angeles, San Francisco. So I went to San Francisco and I tried to explain BNI, and they were like, what is this? Who are you? You're from LA? And I found out that it's not as linear as you thought. And so the best thing to do is to follow the referrals you get. So one of our next areas for BNI was in Kalispell, Montana. Was the 3rd state for BNI, Kalispell, Montana. Now, if you've never heard of that city, it's because most Americans have never heard of that city. And there are more mountain goats than people in Kalispell. But we opened a chapter in Kalispell, Montana, because it came from a referral. So I think we will open in Pakistan when we get the right referral, and it will make sense. We're in countries like Kenya, which, I wouldn't have thought we'd be in Kenya before Pakistan, but we are, because we got the right referral. Does that make sense? Thank you so much. We appreciate you being here.
And we'll be around if you have any further questions.
We have the population.
first of all, invite and warmly welcome our founder, Dr. Ivan Misner, who's come all the way from the US into the #1 city in the world for BNI, Dr. Ivan Misner.
Namaste. It is fantastic being back in India. Maybe we can bring the microphone reverb down just a little bit. It is great being here in India. I was here a few years ago and I'm excited to be back. I know many of you are from various parts of India, but who's from the greater Kolkata area? Yeah? Well, most of you. Not all of you. Who's outside of Kolkata? See, there's a few. So, for those of you from the greater Kolkata region, I want to congratulate you. You are, this month, the #1 BNI region in the world based on traffic. #1 region in the world. That really is amazing. I'm so impressed and so proud of being in India, in Calcutta. So what I'd like to do now is to open it up. First there's a few words I want to say. Just a little bit that I want to talk about. Then I want to open it up for your questions. You've been invited to a special session. This is a session for BNI directors and members where some people like to call it Ivan Unplugged. I just answer any questions you've got. The only dumb question is the unasked question. I have no agenda. Well, I've got about 3 minutes worth of material. And then you get to set the rest of the topic today. I'm happy to answer any question that you've got about BNI, about how you scale a company. If you have a personal question, I'm happy to answer that. So whatever's on your mind is all right with me. I think we have microphones in the back. It'll be a little easier for me to hear. So what I'd like you to do, if you don't mind, is if you have a question, go into the back and stand in line, and I'll try and cover as many questions as I can in the time I have. So, a few words that I want to say, and then I'm going to open it up and start taking these questions. I have traveled all over the world, and one of the things that I can say categorically is different here in India is that members from India are more immersed in education and learning than any other country in the world, hands down. Your average chapter size here in the Kolkata region is over 60. It's about 61 members per chapter. That is, I think, exactly 231% greater than the average worldwide. Wow. Wow. That is amazing to me, and I think one of the reasons why your average chapter size in India, which is over 40, I think 46 or so, the reason your average chapter size in the country is greater than the average globally is honestly, your members are more engaged in my podcasts, in my blog, in my articles than any other country. When I have comments, they're often from members in India, even though India, proportionate to the size of the organization, doesn't represent a big percentage of the organization yet. I believe someday it will. I predict that in the not too distant future, BNI India will be one of the largest countries in the world and will probably be the largest country in the world in 10 years or so. So, and the reason for that, I think, again, for your really wildly dramatic success is your immersion in education. And the fact that so many of your members are going to be here tonight is an example of that. So, that's it. That's my entire speech. What I want to do is address questions and issues that you would like for me to talk about rather than me just come up with the topic. Later tonight, my presentation will be called Networking for Success, and I have a very specific set of material that I'm going to go through, and then I'm going to open it up
for a few more questions at the end of the evening. But now, my time is yours. So what I'd love for you to do is to line up on this microphone. By the way, in Delhi, I was unable to answer all the questions. So don't wait long. If you've got a question, stand up there and I'll take them in the order they come in. So we have first question. Yes, sir.
Sir, good evening. Wonderful to have you here, sir. So the system of having, we have a very strict rule in BNI that 3 absence in 6 rolling months means you are out of the chapter. Now that's a really strict kind of a rule, particularly when you don't want to lose quality members just because there is a regulation like that in BNI. So can this be relaxed? Can be looking forward, because we don't want to lose good members.
Well, first of all, it's not 6. You're allowed 6. It's over that. So it wouldn't be 6. Let's make sure we get it accurate. It would be 7 or more over an extended period of time. And of course, there are, if you have health reasons, you can take a leave of absence. So this is a really good question, and it's going to probably be my longest answer of all the questions that I have. So thank you, because it's an important question. I really believe that people don't care about how you do something until they understand why. The why is so very important. And you say, can we relax this? I love that phrase. A few years ago, I had somebody send me an email, and he said, I love BNI, I love the ethics and the ethos and the culture of giver's gain, but this meeting every week thing is too much. I can't do it every week. So, I'd like to have BNI, but I want to do it on a monthly basis. So here's my answer to him. I'd love to win the Boston Marathon, but I hate running. Okay, I think being a medical doctor would be really cool, but I am not going to do surgery on somebody. The blood and this stuff, I'm sorry, no, I'm not going to do that. I think it would be awesome, just awesome, to be a brigadier general. I knew a couple of brigadier generals. One was a professor at USC, and I got to know him pretty well. It'd be great to be a brigadier general, but I don't have time for boot camp. If only wishing made it so. If only I could wish to get success through referrals without actually showing up. And so there are things that we have to do in order to be successful in business and in life. I believe the secret to success without hard work, the secret to success without hard work is still a secret. It doesn't exist. And I'll tell you how I came to that conclusion in terms of the attendance. And by the way, let's talk about the attendance policy itself. Who do you think created the attendance policy? The members. I didn't do it. You did it. If you're a member of BNI, the Board of Advisors, and I think I met, maybe it was in Delhi, are any of you a member of the Board of Advisors? Yeah, he did it. No, the Board of Advisors many years ago came to this policy, and by the way, I support and agree with the policy. But let's go deeper and talk about why. We were experimenting with different kinds of tracking attendance in the past, and I had one chapter in particular that just insisted that being there was not going to make a difference. Showing up was not. If you missed a few minutes, not a big deal. Okay. Now this was a very unsuccessful chapter. This was a chapter in the days where we had, a fair number of chapters that were 16, 17, 18 members. And they were very loose on the attendance policy. Come, don't come, it's okay. And so I said, look, the first thing you have to do is you have to improve your attendance. And if you don't improve your attendance, you're not going to be successful. And he said, all right, I'll tell you what, I'll make a deal. The president said to me, I'll make a deal with you. We will absolutely improve our attendance. And if we do, can we show you that data, and will you change your policy? I said, you show me that data, and I will take it to the Board of Advisors. No, I told him, you show me that data, and you can take it to the Board of Advisors, show them, and if they agree, then I'm happy to change. Because this is a policy that people constantly complain about, right? Why do they complain about it? Because people like water
tend to seek the path of least resistance. They want to do what's easier, not what's better. And I get that. So I need to get back in the light. The photographer is going, I can't see. So I said yes. He said, will you publish the results? I said yes, whatever they are. So he did this. And at the time, they were having it was like 2.4 absences per member per quarter. So it was way over the minimum. And they started following the program, and the absenteeism dropped from 2.4 to like 0.9. Pretty big improvement. Their membership went up by 25%. Their referrals went up by 40%. And that was in a period of about 3 months. They did it another 3 months. Their membership ended up going up by 40%. Their referrals went up by 60%. At the end of 6 months, he called me up and he said, never mind. Never mind. You're right. It made a difference. And so they really focused on attendance to reduce absenteeism. Now, that's not the end of the story. There's more. And for anybody who wants this, I have the original newsletter where this was published, and I'm happy to give copies to Mac and the India team so you can see this. And I would take this to the chapters and tell them, because people don't care about why they don't care about how until they understand why. So I had someone who read that original article, and he called me up. This is in the 1980s. He called me up and he said, I don't believe this statistics. I don't believe it. You know, you made it up. I said, I didn't make it up. It was done by the president of one of the chapters. He said, he's in your pocket. He'll just do whatever you say. I'm like, man, you don't know BNI. People don't do just what I say. I wish if only people would do what I say. You know, that's the problem. So he said, we want to do it, but we want to do it longer. We want